let's take a look at constructing triangles. You're going to need a protractor and potentially a ruler depending on what's on your protractor. So let's remind ourselves how to measure an angle. So I'm going to start at our vertex, and the little dot or the little open circle in between here is going to line up on that dot. And then if it's going to help you to kind of extend this line out, then go ahead and do that, because I want my line to match up there. So my vertex is matched up at the point and my line is matched up there. So my 0 is on the outside here, because I see 170 on the inside, 10 on the outside. So 0 is on the outside, so I'm looking at where does this match up. 110 would be the inside, so we're looking at the outside measure, which is 70, which makes sense. This is less than a right angle, so it should be smaller than 70. 110 wouldn't make sense. That's an obtuse angle. Now let's look at constructing an angle measure. So first thing I'm going to do is I am just going to draw a straight line. Okay. So I'm going to draw a vertex. Doesn't matter which side you do it on. I'm doing it on this side now. I am matching up with that and then making sure that my lines are on that line. This time, since I'm looking on the right side, my 0 is on the inside. So if I'm doing a 65-degree angle, I don't see a 65 on the inside, but I know it's going to be on that longer halfway mark up here. So I put a dot there, and then I connect these two, and that should be a 65-degree angle. So that's a little refresher on constructing angles. Now let's look at doing these triangles. So I'm going to change over to a pencil because it's very easy to make mistakes on these ones. We are drawing a triangle given that angle C is 60 degrees, angle A is 45 degrees, and angle R is 75 degrees. So we're given 3 angle measures. It does not matter which one you are starting with. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line using my straight edge or my protractor, okay? And then I'm just gonna draw a point on the end. So let's say we start with that 60-degree angle. Doesn't matter where it's going, I'm gonna put it on the left side. So I'm lining up my vertex with the open circle, and I'm making sure that those little lines there are lined up here. So we need a 60-degree angle. Since I'm looking on the right side, my 0 is on the inside over here. So I'm going to 60, which is right here. And we know that there's going to be some human error. We're not perfect, right? But we want to get it as close to perfect as possible. So this is 60 degrees. That was at angle C. I'm going to move on to angle 45. I can do that anywhere. So maybe I pick the point right here. That is going to be A. And that should be 45 degrees. So I'm lining up my vertex. I'm making sure that these lines are on there. Okay. I'm looking on the left side. My 0 is on the outside on the left side. I'm finding 45 is right here. And then connecting those 2 points. So that should be 45 degrees here, which should leave over 75 degrees here for point R. You can double check and make sure that it's at least close enough to 75, which it looks kind of like if I continued it, it would be around that. All right, let's look at the next type. So we are given two angles and one side that is in between the angles of the triangle. So triangle RED, where ED is 3 centimeters, measure of angle RED is 65, which means when we're looking at measure of angle RED, the E is going to be at the vertex, and then measure of angle EDR is 50 degrees, so that means D is going to be the vertex. So I'm going to start by drawing my angle. I can worry about the side measure later. So again, I am just going to draw a straight line. I will worry about the side length later. So I'm going to pick a vertex on the left side, and let's have that be E. So RED, that angle should be 65. So I'm lining up my protractor here, lining up the lines. Okay, we need it at 65. I'm looking on the right side. Our 0 is on the inside, so 65 is going to be right here in between 60 and 70. Draw my line, doesn't matter how long. Now is where the side measure matters. So we need a 3 centimeter side. My centimeters on the inside of my protractor, or you could use your ruler. I'm going to line these up, and I'm starting at 1, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 centimeters would be right here. And that is side ED, so this has to be D, which matches for EDR, the vertex should be at D, so our 50-degree angle should be starting at D here. So I'm going to line this up, my vertex. Make sure those lines are matched up. I'm looking on the left side here. Our 0's on the outside. We're finding 50, which is right here. Connecting those points. And don't be concerned about these extra lines here. That doesn't matter. So it's EDR. So E was 65 degrees, D was 50 degrees. So we have E, so angle RED is 65, angle EDR is 50, and the side length of ED in between. Okay, let's look next at if you are given 2 sides and 1 angle that is included in between the sides of a triangle. So given BAT, where BT is 4, AT is 6, and BTA is 125 degrees. So if we realize we have T, T, and T. So the sides here meet at T, and then the angle where they meet is 125 degrees. So again, I don't care what my side length is to start off. So I am just going to draw a line, okay? And then I'm gonna do an angle of 125 degrees. So I'm gonna make this a little shorter over here so that it's easier with this obtuse angle. I'm gonna draw my vertex here, and I'm gonna do the angle first, because then I can just add the side lengths in later. So I'm matching up my vertex. I'm gonna line these guys up. We need an angle of 125, so I'm looking on the right, my 0's on the inside, so I'm going all the way over to 125, which is right here. I'm gonna match up those lines. This was BTA, so this should be angle T right here, which is 125 degrees. Then it says, remember, these sides are matching up on the left side and the right side, so BT is 4 centimeters. So now I'm gonna measure out the 4 centimeters. So I'm starting that at the 2 mark, so 1, 2, 3, 4 centimeters is right here. That was BT. And then we're doing AT. So T connected to A over here is 6 centimeters. So I am lining this up. I'm starting at 3 this time, so I'm going to count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here. Since mine didn't go out that whole way, I'm just going to extend my line to here, and then I will connect these 2 points to each other. And we have our triangle. This is side A, which is 6 centimeters. So side BT is 4. We have the angle BTA is 125, and side AT or TA is 6. All right, given 2 sides and 1 angle that is included in between the sides of the triangle. So we've got HMS, where angle M is 130, MS is 2. So actually, here it's just given an angle and 1 side measure. So if we remember back to unique triangles, actually no, we haven't done that yet, but we'll talk about that in a second. So we've got angle M is 130 degrees, MS is 2 centimeters. So again, I don't care what my first measure is, I'm just gonna draw a line. I'm gonna pick a point on this line, maybe on the end here. I'm gonna call this M, because when we are looking at measure of angle M, it is 130 degrees. So I'm going to line up my vertex, and I'm going to line up those lines, making sure that they are on there. R0 is on the inside, so 130 is all the way over here. Maybe I can mark it on the inside there, because that might be a little bit more accurate. And extend that line out. Then it says side MS is 2 centimeters. So maybe I'll have my S over here. So I'm going to do my 2 centimeters. I'm going to start it at about 4. So 2 centimeters is going to be right here. 1, 2. So that's going to be S. So this is side S here, which is 2 centimeters. It doesn't specify any other information. So it does not matter where our other point goes on here. So I'm just going to pick a random spot, put it right here. That's going to be H. And then I'm just going to connect these last 2 points. So we had our angle M was 130 degrees. We had this side is 2. This side length does not matter. All right, last one. Okay, we're looking at 2 angles and 1 side that is not included in between the angles of the triangle. So given XYZ, where ZXY is 40 degrees, so that means angle X is 40 degrees. Angle XYZ is 80 degrees, so angle Y is 80 degrees, and YZ is 4 centimeters. Draw a triangle. So, we've got angle X is 40, angle Y is 80, and YZ is 4. If it helps you to kind of draw a little sketch out first, just to remember what this is, X, Y, Z. So we are given angle X right here is 40 degrees. We are given that angle Y up here is 80 degrees. And we're given this side measure here of YZ is 4 centimeters. Okay. So it can get a little tricky. Let's maybe start over here because we know these things are exact. So let's start with YZ. So I am going to just draw a line. Okay. I'm going to mark this as Y. Okay. And we need YZ to be 4 centimeters. So I'm going to mark up 4 centimeters. So we're starting at 1, so 4 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we know that angle Y is going to be 80 degrees. So angle Y is 80 degrees. We are going to mark this in here. The 0 is on the inside, 80 is up here. Okay. Now, here's what's tricky. Okay. If I am trying to match this up, I know that the angle up here has to be 40 degrees. But it would be really hard to figure out, I don't know where my point needs to go on here, where it's gonna match up with Z over here. So I can do a little bit of problem solving here. If we know 2 of the angle measures, that means that we know that last angle measure. So if X is 40 and Y is 80, that's 120. That means that this angle measure has to be 60 degrees. And it's gonna be a lot easier to do that than try to keep doing trial and error until we pick the right spot on here. So instead, I'm going to measure the angle 60 here. So I'm going to line up my vertex and the lines. I'm looking on the left side, my 0's on the outside. I'm finding 60, which is going to be right there. And now I'm going to connect. We didn't have this side quite long enough, so I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. So that tells me that right here is going to be X, and that should be around 40 degrees. Again, there's human error, so I can just double check to make sure it's as close as possible. If I line these up, we get around 40 degrees. And that's it.